Yes, the omens are very good indeed for Red Bull. Sebastian Vettel, congratulations to him. He stands on the top step of the podium. We might not file this one under an instant classic as we would have done in Australia just a week ago, but Sebastian won't mind one iota. That win has been very hard for him to get hold of.
Well, yeah, I think that obviously there wasn't maybe quite so much incidents we saw in Australia, but we saw some great racing there. What an opportunist. With Sebastian at the first corner, he saw Mark move across and he dived straight in. We saw some great racing down the middle of the field as well between the McLarens and Ferraris. And great day for Adrian Sutil and Robert Kubica and the Renault and the Force India. So a lot of action there.
And they got the flags slightly muddled up on the podium. I'm sure Mark Webber would have wished that it was the Australian flag in the middle, because he might see this as perhaps a race win thrown away. Let's get the thoughts of Christian Horner, the team principal. Initially, Christian, I guess this is just great relief to finally see your cars up there.
Absolutely, to get both cars to the finish, first and second, no issues at all today. It's a brilliant team result. Both drivers behaved themselves. It was obviously a bit tight into turn one, but they gave each other room, and it's a great team result. OK, well,
let's take a look actually at the drivers going toe-to-toe. When you've had the start to the season that Red Bull have had and you haven't quite had the reliability that you would have hoped for, how would you have been feeling on the pit wall as Sebastian made his way down to the first turn?
Well, the only thing I asked the two of them was in the pre-race briefing was, look, if one gets down the inside, just give them space, and they did exactly that. They didn't, go wheel to wheel. They pushed each other hard. They raced each other through the first and second turn and down into turn three, and behaved themselves impeccably.
Christian, if I just may ask you, because a lot of people were trying to write you off. We read and heard what Niki Lauda had to say and the response, of course, from Mark Webber. Your position, as far as I'm concerned, I think we all said, unified it, in fact, that write Red Bull off at your peril. You've answered the question. Why don't you tell us more about it?
It's a bit like your shirts, Eddie. You keep wearing them every week. And, you just got to keep doing the same thing.
You're just jealous, aren't you? You just want my shirt.
And, we've got a great team. We've had tremendous support this weekend. We've had guys in the factory throughout the Easter weekend. And so this is a big result for them as well. And we've got a fast car. We've got two great drivers. We should have won the first two races. We didn't. But we've fought back and finished the job off here today.
You mentioned the drivers there. They looked pretty evenly matched. So to me, it was a case of whoever got to the first corner first, looked like they were going to win this race. Were you telling them to cut back a little bit on the engine and cruise it to the finish, or was that their maximum pace?
Well, within about 15 laps to go, with the issues that we've had, we basically asked both drivers to wind their engines back in revs, because they have to obviously do 4 races. And then they both started going green and setting purple sectors, and I was just checking whether they had wound their engines back. But I think Mark snuck fastest lap at the end there. That is always quite dear to Sebastian's heart. So I think Sebastian got the win, Mark got the fastest lap.
I'm not sure who designs Eddie's shirts, but we know who designs your car. How important for Adrian Newey, after perhaps taking some stick over the possible fragility of this car, to be up there on the podium today? Was that your call?
Yeah, I mean, Adrian's had a tough couple of weeks. He's kept his head down. He's a brilliant man. He's a tremendous designer, and it was right for him to go and get the trophy today. And I think that he's obviously pushed the technical team very hard, and they've done an excellent job.
Adrian's quite a hard taskmaster. He makes people work hard, and sometimes he gets a big grin across his face. What did he say to you at the end there?
He said he'd aged by about 25 years, but you couldn't tell it looking in those pictures. But after the pit stop, we knew we had the race under control, so then you're waiting for the rain or for any reliability issues, which thankfully didn't appear today.
Christian, Adrian has this wonderful reputation, by far, in my book anyway, the most brilliant designer in Formula One, but he has this tag about having fragile cars. Historically, you've always had somebody behind him saying, listen, Adrian, just make it a little beefier, or make it have you got that person in the factory who's actually honing him in and just holding him back a touch?
Yeah, he's got, Adrian pushes the limits, but he's got a great team, and, Peter Prodromou and Rob Marshall, ably supporting him, and there's tremendous strength and depth. And the issues we have, Adrian doesn't design spark plugs or wheel nuts, and they're the issues that we've had, and nothing to do with how hard he's pushing us. But he's proven his quality, and it's about a team. It's not about one person, and it's about all the guys in Milton Keynes that have worked tremendously hard for this result.
Well, the team will get to celebrate tonight. A big party here and a big party in Milton Keynes, I'm sure. Congratulations, well done. And we can now hear from both of Christian's drivers, alongside Nico Rosberg in the drivers' press conference.
Sebastian, a victory today set up by an excellent start, and one that looked fairly comfortable, if you ever can be comfortable in the heat of Malaysia.
Well, it wasn't comfortable. I mean, I realized straight away I had a good start. Past Nico, was alongside, and then obviously got the tow from Mark. So was able to gain. It's a long sprint down to turn 1, so obviously I was clearly having an advantage over him. And then, I took the chance I had into turn 1. It was quite late, so just made it. And then obviously Mark had a bit of a better exit out of turn 2 through turn 3. But it's it's very slippery, and I think we both tried to push. Obviously, we are fighting. We are here to fight ourselves, but always, you should keep the respect. And I think we both had the respect for each other. If Mark would have been in my position, I'm quite sure he would have done the same. And after that, obviously, it was just a question, about getting away from our competitors. I could see that Mark and I were, more or less having the same pace. I think he was a little bit quicker in the beginning. I was trying to save my tires. It did work, so before the stop I could pull away a little bit. And then second stint was extremely long. As you said, it is extremely hot here, so I didn't stop sweating. Fortunately, I did not run out of drinks in the car, so I was trying not to be too extreme in the beginning, but it is very hot, very physical. At some stage I was hoping for rain just to get a bit of a cool down, but what a day. Obviously yesterday was extremely difficult with the conditions. Today, I think looking back, fortunately it stayed dry all the time, and we had a magnificent car. The key once again was to pace yourself. As I said, watch after your tires, but I think Bridgestone did a good job bringing 2 compounds here that worked fairly well. And I think, in the end of the day, a very good result for us, obviously, especially for myself, after 2 races where we didn't finish probably where we want to be. And then to come back, I think, thanks to the team, it's very crucial in that moment not to panic and, stay relaxed. Obviously, it's a long season, but sitting here on Sunday afternoon, having finished the race in first position is obviously the best result we can get. So on top of that, Mark on second place, I think is a big plus for the team. A lot of points, and I'm very, very happy.
Season starts here. Enjoy your celebration this evening. Mark, we heard the call on the team radio to look after your tyres on, I think, the 7th lap. At your pit stop, you lost 2.5 seconds as well. Was that when you lost the chance of catching up with Sebastian today?
Well, we know with these days with the strategy and how the races unfold that the first part of the race is crucial in the first sector. So as Seb explained, I got a little bit of wheel spin, and on the run to the first corner, obviously Seb had a big toe. I didn't really know where Nico was either. I didn't know if to go fully to the inside or just sit in the middle, so I just braked late. And both of us obviously on the limit to make the apex of the first corner. I had a bit better exit coming out of 2, as Seb explained, and then the fight continued up to turn 4. We obviously had a chat to Christian Horner at the start of the race, and Christian said, "Boys, behave yourselves." And we did. That's the spirit and the chemistry in our team is awesome, and we fight very hard. You saw that today. It was a good fight between Seb and I. Result could have gone either way, but in the end, he did the job at a crucial stage and deserved the victory. So a 1-2 for us as a team is sensational. The cars ran very well, clearly. It was a nice comeback for us after some tough few races where clearly we didn't finish where we should. So all in all, coming to the weekend, you never know what you probably take this type of result. But as the weekend went on, of course, I'd like to be one spot further up, but in the end, great result for the team, and we executed a beautiful weekend for everybody. So well done to Red Bull, and Renault, of course, the engines are great.
And to Nico, you watched the Red Bulls sail away into the distance. You kind of had a race all to yourself today, but a first podium for yourself with Mercedes.
Yeah, it's a fantastic result for us today. I'm quite pleased. Unfortunately, the start didn't go too well. I think it was actually this time quite a lot down to me, that I just wanted a bit too much and got too much wheel spin, so I lost out a bit there. And from then on, I mean, once I was third, I knew it was going to be difficult to follow the Red Bulls. But even I was struggling a bit in the first stint with the options. Don't know why. We need to analyze that. And Kubica could stay pretty close, which wasn't really the plan. But anyways, then once we did the pit stop and got on the prime, I was very comfortable. A bit worried about Hamilton initially, but because I didn't really know how he was going to come up after his pit stop, and I was expecting him to be very fast, but apparently he didn't get by the people behind me. So yeah, it's a fantastic result for us. Here at one of our home Grand Prix also, because obviously we have the backing from Petronas, so a lot of support here at this race, and yeah, it's a great coincidence that the first podium comes over here too. And I really have to thank the whole team for for all the really hard work that they've put in through the winter. I mean, they work crazy hours, so a little reward now with the podium, and we definitely need to push on because we're not there yet where we want to be, but it's a good step in the right direction today.
So a big day for Nico Rosberg. He was the fastest German out there, bar Sebastian Vettel. Congratulations, Seb. He's worked very hard indeed for that win, and Red Bull pick up their first 1-2 since the last race of 2008. And you can see there Nico Rosberg from Mercedes Grand Prix coming in third spot. He'll be delighted with that. Michael Schumacher failed to finish the race. It was strong drives from Robert Kubica, Adrian Sutter. Lewis Hamilton had an incredible drive today to finish 2 spots in front of his teammate Jenson Button. Congratulations to Toro Rosso's Jaime Alguersuari and Nico Hülkenberg. They pick up their first points in Formula 1. And then towards the back, it was a tough day for Fernando Alonso, dealing with various technical issues on his car. Big applause to Karun Chandhok and also Bruno Senna. They finished for the first time for Hispania Racing. Well done, Bruno Senna. He hadn't finished a race before today. And then we get towards the back, Michael Schumacher. Another dismal weekend for him, but not quite as bad as it was for Sauber. They had 2 cars failing to finish. And of course, they've both got Ferrari engines in the back of those cars. And this is how it affects the Drivers' Championship, and it couldn't be closer. Look at that. Felipe Massa, 39 points. Fernando Alonso and Sebastian Vettel both locked on 37, with Jenson Button now moving up 35 points. Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton just underneath him. And congratulations on page 2 to a few of the drivers that also picked up points today that hadn't done that beforehand. Well done, Jaime Alguersuari and Nico Hülkenberg. And this is how it affects the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari stay top, 76 points. Not as many points as they would have hoped from this weekend. It's McLaren, followed by Red Bull, who leap up from 5th to 3rd. Mercedes Grand Prix and Renault, and Toro Rosso picking up their first points of the season. They've now got 2 points. Well, you heard Nico there, who finished 3rd, saying he had his eyes on Lewis Hamilton, which is an incredible admission when you think that Lewis started this race in 20th position. And actually, of the 14 places that he made up most of them from the start. It was an incredible start for Lewis, wasn't it?
Yeah, he obviously got hooked up off the line, chose to dive to the inside here. Once you've made that commitment, then you pretty much have to go with it. Look at all that traffic on the left. And he's just got his spot, he's braking. And when he hits the brakes, the door just opens wide open. Gets a little bit tight as it gets close to the apex here. He has to back out of it to avoid the back of that Toro Rosso. And then again, using the outside line around turn 2. Great start, you know, a real racer.
Lewis has got a history of following up difficult weekends with really impressive ones. And actually, some of the driving that he pulled out today, not only could you see his talent, but also the aggression and the desire to win, particularly when he was going up against Vitaly Petrov down the start-finish straight, Eddie.
We've all said it, and we know that you don't become world champion unless you've got something extra special in your locker. He has everything that's special, and he doesn't surprise me. He just brings out races like this time and time after again, even in the face of adversity. He has an unbelievable talent, and I'm a huge fan.
Now, Lewis had a bit of a reprimand from the stewards for this. Is this too much in your book?
Well, you know, the basic rule and understanding is that you make one sort of change of direction to defend your position, and it all comes down to how close was Petrov in that situation. I think that ultimately he got a warning. He didn't get actually any penalty for it. I think we have to understand that with the mirrors on these cars, you can't actually see where the traffic is behind you. So when you're weaving around like that, you're kind of, you know, they're in sight, they're out of sight, and you know, that sort of speed, you've got to be a bit careful.
And we were berating McLaren yesterday for their decisions, Eddie, during qualifying, but 3.5 seconds for a pit stop here. A great pit stop from the team, and then some impressive driving here from Lewis to keep his teammate at bay.
Well, you know, let's be very fair about it. I think we gave them a hard time yesterday for very good reason, and today was a very good reason to compliment them. They were absolutely outstanding. Great team effort.
OK, so compliments belong to Lewis Hamilton. He finished in 6th place. He's talking to Lee McKenzie.
OK, so let's start at the beginning. What a first lap that was. You passed 8 cars.
Really? Yeah, it wasn't so bad. Good start. couldn't see a thing when you went down the inside of everyone. The dust that came up was incredible. So my visibility for the first couple of laps wasn't great, but great start. I didn't even know I got past that many cars, but the pace was great, and was able to stay out for very long. Nearly got Vettel, obviously, when he came out for his pit stop. But overall, I'm well happy with that. I mean, could not ask for any more. 20th to 6th. Really, I think the team deserved it. I think we're closer now in the Constructors' Championship. I don't know how it stands in the drivers, but clearly it's a positive.
And just tell us about, we heard you on your team radio talking about your friend Adrian Sutil. Were you surprised by the pace of that Force India on the straights?
Yeah, I mean, they've always been quite quick. They've got the same engine as us, so this guy was quick. You're flat out, huh? Flat out, always. Good job. No, we had a good race, and I tried my best to get past him, but he drove a fantastic race. He was faultless, so really well done to him.
It's nice to see. I mean, you've had quite a tough weekend yesterday and things, but you're always smiling at the moment. It's great to see.
That's because I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the racing. I got great support. I'd love to say a big hi to my family at home. I love you and miss you.
Well, get cool. Thank you.
And I'm sure Lewis's family are as proud as Punch watching this. Adrian Sutil looked quite proud of himself there. It's interesting, isn't it, when a couple of mates go toe-to-toe on the racing track, and you could see Lewis was thinking, oh, you didn't let me pass.
Well, absolutely. And if we just go back to when Nico Rosberg was in the press conference, he referred to Lewis as Hamilton. He didn't call him Lewis. And they're mates as well. So, you know, you've got a group of guys here who holiday together, but when on the racetrack, they're competitors. So they're not thinking about having dinner together. They're thinking about getting as many points as possible. So a big credit to Adrian Sutil's performance today. You know, I expected him to get tangled up at the first corner like we've seen so many times before, but he delivered a great result. OK, well, one man who avoided a tangle at the first corner was Jenson Button, and we were fearing for both Jenson and Lewis, because with Jenson starting in 17th, it could have been so easy here, Eddie, to get caught up in some traffic behind some slower cars.
Well, it's interesting because Jenson goes to the left side, which is the cleaner side of the track. Lewis went to the inside. The inside happened to be the quicker way. But nevertheless, you know, Jenson had a fairly lucky passes a load of cars too. But the quickest line was taken by Hamilton.
And it was a pit stop for Jenson last week that grabbed our attention, and the same again this week. On lap 9 he came in for new tyres, which we all thought was incredibly early, and obviously that made things tricky for him.
Wow, well, that was a long, tough race, and I think you probably made it longer and tougher on that set of tyres.
Yeah, I mean, I got a really good start in the race and went down to turn 1, and I thought the outside was a good move, but it blatantly wasn't. It was very slippery out there. I lost a lot of places and also got my tyres very dirty. So then I was stuck behind Fernando for a few laps, and I just couldn't. I was massive oversteer with the tyre, really struggling with it. So I said to the team, you know, let's pit as soon as we can, as soon as we're in clear air. So we did, which meant we spent a lot of time on the prime. So it was very tough, and eventually Massa got past me after about 10-12 laps. I couldn't hold him off, and then I had Fernando all over the back of me. So one Ferrari passed, the next one was on me. So it was pretty tough, but I could hold off Fernando, which is good. But that was a pretty tough race to finish 8th. But I'm happy with the result. You know, Lewis did a great job finishing 6th. We went completely different ways in the strategy. I think I made the wrong tyre choice at the start of the race on the option. But there you go. We got some reasonable points considering where we started.
It wasn't. It was a Ferrari sandwich towards the end.
Big weekend for Jenson Button. Congratulations to Jenson, and don't forget you've got the chance to see all of this all over again on our rerun later on today on BBC One at 2:25. You get the chance to see the race all over again, and if you're not in this afternoon, then on BBC 3 at 25 minutes past midnight you can join us there. Now we're about to disappear to the Red Button Forum. We'd love you to join us. All you have to do is make sure you press the red button, and you can drop us emails f1@bbc.co.uk. A fantastic race. We've got an awful lot to talk about, but of course everyone knows that today belongs to Sebastian Vettel and Red Bull.
Well, it was only 3 races ago that he was winning in Abu Dhabi, so it seems like in these first 2 races had so much disappointment. What a great way to come back with a 1-2.
And we look at the standings at the moment for the drivers. 3 races in, it's so tight, Eddie.
Well, this is what we've been hoping for. Competitive young drivers. Have we all noticed the word Schumacher has not been mentioned in the last half an hour? This is remarkable stuff because all these young guys are hot to go and it's so competitive at the front.
OK, I think we'll be talking about Schumacher on the Red Button Forum. However, the rain didn't arrive, but finally, at last, Red Bull's win this season did. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you in China.
fact, here on BBC Two Scotland, you can see the replay of the Malaysian Grand Prix a little later at 20 to 3.
Cashback, hot top. Standing in line to see the show tonight, and there's a light on, heavy glow. By the way, I tried to say I'd be there, waiting for.
The checkered flag falls. Sebastian Vettel wins in 2010.